Good afternoon, or good evening, I guess would be the proper word. Thank you. The singing was wonderful. Thank you for that inspirational message. My name is John Thomas, and I've spent quite a bit of time sitting out there as opposed to standing up here. And I want you to know that I understand both sides. In the last 8 years, I've buried 5 family members out here. First with my father-in-law, then my sister-in-law, then my mother-in-law. And then I buried my 6-year-old son, and then I buried my wife. So I understand. And as I was sitting and I was thinking, what kind of message should I give? Or what should I really say to these people that come? And I thought, what is the question that I kept going back to? What is it that I wanted to know? And really, every single time I sat here, it was, why me? It sounds selfish, and it is selfish. But really, that's what I wanted to know. Why am I having to go through this? What have I done wrong? Why wasn't it me instead of my wife or my son? And I thought, I had to answer this question for myself. And I think that each one of us probably needs to answer it for ourselves. So all I can really do is tell you how I answered it. And how I'm still standing here instead of hiding underneath my bed. Which I can assure you there are many days that I want to. The bottom line was I had to realize that it really wasn't about me, as Dr. Christopher pointed out. I don't think that God was sitting up there saying, let's pick on John. And I don't think any of you probably think that either. I think that we realize that everything happens for a reason. I can't tell you how many times I've heard, He won't give you more than you can handle. I believe it's true, but honestly, a lot of times I'm tired of hearing it, and I'm sure a lot of times you are too. What I had to figure out, and what I hope you all figure out at some point, is why me. And in my case, her name is Emma Claire. She's my 12-year-old daughter. And if I'm wondering why me, can you imagine what she's wondering? She remembers every one of these 5 funerals. She could tell me about them. And I got to thinking, it's not about me. I've always been raised in the church, and I understand that, but I also know that when you go through the grief cycle repetitively, that it's awful hard to go back and read the Bible and make yourself go back to church. I can say that because I skipped about 3 months of it after Joseph died. But what I realized is that it's not about me. It's about the fact that I think each and every one of us have a reason that we're here on earth. And I think that we can't go home until we accomplish what it is that we're supposed to do on earth. I'm not scared of death. Because I know that when I accomplish what I am supposed to accomplish, that's when they will happen. And so, really, it boiled down to it's not about me. It's about maybe what I haven't done. Or maybe it's about that 12-year-old little girl. Maybe I'm here to instill all of those principles that my wife and I talked about and were raised on into her. Maybe she's going to do something wonderful. I don't know what it is. Maybe she'll be president. Maybe she'll solve the world's problems. I know that she came to me the other day, and I'm thankful. I guess she's paying attention in social studies, because she said, why do those in other places don't have food? I sat and tried to explain that to a 12-year-old. And I assure you that was as hard as trying to explain why your mother and your brother have gone. And it was a real good friend of mine that said that my family members haven't died. They simply moved. They moved upstairs to be with God. And him and I talk about that. We can talk to him anytime we want to. And I hope that each and every one of you will think about it. And I hope that you'll realize the crying, the grief, it's there, and it needs to be there. And I find that I cry in the middle of the day for no apparent reason, or my daughter will, in the middle of school. But that's good. It's good for us to sit and remember these things. It's good for us not to forget. We simply need to remember that we have our own individual missions in life. I don't know what mine is. I think it has a lot to do with that little 12-year-old girl. And I started doing a little speaking, and I started going out and talking to people. Maybe it's one person. Maybe one person sitting in the room listened and understood that I've lived a hard last 8 years. But I can stand up here and I can smile, because I understand that my job is not finished. And I understand that Emma's job is not finished. If you take nothing else away from this evening, I'd like for you to think about this. Every minute of every hour of every day is given to us. It's a blessing. And all too often I hear people say, I don't have time. And I think to these people, I've gone to bed twice and woke up and 2 people were gone. Did I really not have enough time? I think that I was probably given, in a lot of cases, more time than I probably deserved. So when you think about a loved one, when you think about someone in your life today, pick up the phone. Call them. Tell them you love them. When you go home from here, when you walk out of this place, go home, pick up the phone, and make a phone call. And tell your mother, or your father, or your son, or your daughter, or your next door neighbor, or your best friend, that you love them, and that you appreciate all the things they've done for you. I don't think that's too much to ask. I really don't. And for those of you who don't have enough time, make it. Because if you're in this room, you understand, just like I do, that each and every day is precious. And you're thankful for every day that you were given. Am I sad? Yes. Am I glad? Yes. My son was the hardest one. He passed away at 6 years old. But this is the same child that they said did not live past birth, or the first night, or the first day, or the first year. And I got 6 years. Shows what they know. Shows who's really in charge. So we can be sad, and I understand. And we should be, to some extent. But we should also be thankful. We should also be glad that we were given what we were given. And the person in our lives were there for a reason. So keep this in mind when you leave. I understand. But take every day and make it special. Make the phone calls. Tell those people that you love them. And enjoy.